father or son.
Truly He is the one, He has no father or son.
Everything in creation was by Him begun.
Everything in creation was by Him begun.
With His infinite power, anything could be done.
With His infinite power, anything could be done.
Ask Allah for His pardon,
Ask Allah for His pardon,
and you'll enter the garden.
Allahu, 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 Allahu,
Before Him there were none, of partners He has none.
Before Him there were none, of partners He has none.
He knows what is apparent and what is hidden.
He knows what is apparent and what is hidden.
All the fate of creation has already been written.
All the fate of creation has already been written.
His will is always done,
His will is always done,
and can never be undone.
Allahu, 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 Allahu,
Truly He is the one, He has no father or son.
Truly He is the one, He has no father or son.
Everything in creation was by Him begun.
Everything in creation was by Him begun.
With His infinite power, anything could be done.
With His infinite power, anything could be done.
Ask Allah for His pardon,
Ask Allah for His pardon,
and you'll enter the garden. Before Him there were none, of partners has none.
Before him there were none, what partners he has none.
He knows what is apparent and what is hidden.
He knows what is apparent and what is hidden.
All the fate of creation has already been written.
All the fate of creation has already been written.
His will is always done
His will is always done
and can never be undone. From amongst all humans, Muhammad was chosen.
From amongst all humans, Muhammad was chosen.
He was illiterate and he was an orphan.
He was illiterate and he was an orphan.
Yet Allah sent him to those who were pagans.
Yet Allah sent him to those who were pagans.
Oh Allah, let us drink.
Oh Allah, let us drink
From his hand in the fountain. Ya Allah, you're the sovereign, you're the sultan of souls.
Ya Allah, you're the sovereign, you're the sultan of souls.
Please protect me from shaitan and all of his tricks.
Please protect me from shaitan and all of his tricks.
Let him not with his whispers my iman ever weaken.
Let him not with his whispers my iman ever weaken.
My only wish in this life,
My only wish in this life
is to attain your pardon.
We have many generations. In fact, we are just catching up, getting Liberia, getting back. When we attach, we know she's a Bajira. Oh, yes. He is. Bajira, he is. Before you go,
in keeping with the promise we made there this morning, we have deliberated for these books, which are very, very significant to today's discussion. It's a very comprehensive research work that was undertaken by a professor in the US, but he did the research here in Ghana about Islamic education. And there will be the lunch some years. But I have this reservoir copies in my store, and I thought that it would be nice today to bring them to class to show how we appreciate those of you who have come early today. For those of you who are here this morning, if it gets finished, anyone who comes then you must answer why he came late.
As I had a request of the chairman of the Hijra Club to inform me earlier about waiting for a few minutes, I have been prompted at this time. So we need to invite our fathers, the ownership of the Hijra Club, to take their high seat. First, to be invited on the seat is Lawyer Sharif. Sheikh Sharif. Sheikh Sharif is a lawyer, engineer, and a sheriff for that matter. Sheikh, please, you are welcome. And if of all your scholarship that have been successful, we want to his hand and his committee. Thank you for coming to next to invite is to have our chairman, the main chairman for the program that we started, that is General Abdullahi. He is the first youth officer from our community to get the rank of general. And when you understand what's called general, the last one. And those of you who are the Gen Z, those days we used to have, I promise, on GTV, news at 7. They used to be President Rollins. The one we see with the red, it was our own father right over here. And he was also receiving his general promotion rank. That was the person now.
Sorry.
Yes, you told me about it. Thank you, sir. Next on my high seat will be Alaji Amir Fuda. Alaji Amir Fuda is the trustee of the Hijra Club, and at the final point of starting the club, he was the secretary, and currently in this facility that we have, is the only one currently who have in-depth knowledge about how we came about this entire facility for National Mosque Complex. I will humbly also invite Dr. Haruna Zagoon to take the stage and when it's time for engage, you will have a full recognition, you know exactly who will be. For the 2C, I will let my sister do that in-depth introduction for us.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like to also invite a distinguished leader to the high table. Alhaji Yusuf Ibrahim is the executive chairman of the Dar es Salaam Group of Companies, a respected Ghanaian business group with investments spanning manufacturing, real estate, finance, and industrial development. Over the decades, he has emerged as one of Ghana's most influential entrepreneurs and financiers, having served as chairman of having served as chairman of Guarantee Trust Bank Ghana and contributing to several national and international economic initiatives, including the early development of Afrexim Bank. In recognition of his contributions to national development, he was honored by the Republic of Ghana with a companion of the Order of the Volta, one of the nation's highest state awards. Beyond business, Alhaji Yusuf Ibrahim is widely respected for his commitment to philanthropy, education, and the advancement of Muslim communities across the country. Today, he also serves as the chairman of Hijra Club, where his leadership continues to support the Muslim empowerment of brilliant but needy Muslim students through education. Sir, your life stands as a testament to vision, perseverance, and service. It is now my great honor to respectfully invite you to take your seat at the high table. Distinguished colleagues, honored chairman, respected elders, guests, brothers and sisters in Islam, on behalf of Hijra Club, it gives me great pleasure to warmly welcome you all to the final lecture series of our 2026 Ramadan lecture here at the Ghana National Mosque. We begin by expressing our profound gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who in his infinite mercy has granted us life, health, and the opportunity to witness yet another blessed Ramadan, to a month devoted to reflection, discipline, knowledge, and spiritual renewal. May the peace and abundant blessing invite us to reflect critically on one of the most important pillars of community development. For every society that seeks progress, education remains in its most powerful instrument, shaping minds, nurturing leadership, and preserving identity. It is therefore my sincere hope that today's deliberations will inspire deeper commitment towards strengthening educational opportunities within the Muslim Ummah. You are all mostly welcome. Atakbir. It is now my honor to introduce the chairman for today's program. Our chairman, Sheikh Mustafa Ibrahim, is one of Ghana's most respected Islamic scholars, educators, and humanitarian leaders. A graduate of the University of Ghana's Department for Study of Religions, Sheikh Mustafa Ibrahim has devoted several decades to Islamic scholarship, education, and community development across Ghana and beyond. He is the founder of the Islamic Council for Development and Humanitarian Services, also known as IPODES, through which numerous humanitarian and educational initiatives have been implemented, including the construction of schools, masjids, clinics, and water facilities that continue to serve communities across the country. Sheikh Mustafa Ibrahim is a prolific author, having written several books on Islamic jurisprudence, worship, and the faith aimed at deepening the understanding of Islam among Muslims in Ghana across Africa. In recognition of his immense contribution to scholarship and national development, he has received several honors, including the Champion of the Order of the Volta, one of Ghana's highest national awards, as well as the Grand Medal Award of the Republic of Ghana. Internationally, his work has been recognized by various Islamic and humanitarian institutions, and he has been listed among the world's 500 most influential Muslims for several consecutive years. Distinguished guests, we are indeed privileged to have such an accomplished scholar and community leader preside over today's lecture. I respectfully invite our chairman, Sheikh Mustafa Ibrahim, to deliver his opening remarks. Sheikh, you're welcome. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I would like to invite Haruna to give an opening prayer.
What we need by giving thanks and praises to the Almighty Allah for keeping us alive in good health and for us to meet this very bright morning. I want to thank him for all the blessings of Ramadan. I want to thank him for the life, Hijra Club and its leaders. I want to thank him also for the life of our speaker today. Thank you for all of you for keeping you together and bringing us together. As we begin this program, we want to ask Allah to continue the one who steers this function to accomplish, and also to inspire the one who will speak to us, control his tongue, and fill his mind with the best of inspirations, that which he speaks leave the most impact on us. And as we also listen to him, may Allah open our minds to be able to make the best of contributions, which will finally endure to the benefit of our country, the Muslims particularly. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Malik Yawm Al-Din. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Thank you so much, Sheikh Haruna. I'd like to find out from the chairman if he has accepted and give us his acceptance remarks.
Thank you very much. I wish you allow me to sit down because I have no problem. First of all, we do that one has to thank human beings. Those who do not express their thankfulness to human beings will not appreciate what can happen to them. So, first of all, I want us to pray for the founding fathers of this great Israel. I believe among those who are alive, at least only I had Yusuf Ibrahim. He's the only one who survived. He's alive. It is always good to do something that the fruit will continue after you're gone. And those who are founded, who are instrumental in founding this organization, whatever what they believe, they are benefiting from what the Hijra Club is doing. So it's up to us, up to each one, everyone else, they have to do something that will be after we go. So we pray for them, and now we also pray to our current chairman, who is still alive with us, continue their good work. And we hope that after it's gone, somebody pick up the matter with the Allah will not decide and give him good health. I also have to thank the organizers of this lecture. Why? Because the lecture is very, very important. We all know there's no religion in this world, both religion, which lay emphasis on knowledge of education like Islam. The word Quran started with Hijra, which means if the first verse revealed the Holy Prophet Muhammad as asking him to read, it shows how important the reading of knowledge is. Thanks to Allah, we the Muslims, do we understand that? Huh? We apply it, do we do it? Are we the motivated people? In Ghana here, if you go back to history, the Muslims were the writers and secretaries of some Ashanti kingdom. In those days, no one could write Arabic, no one could write Arabic. And those who were writing this scribe, they were Muslims. During the time of Prophet Muhammad, there were only 7 people who could write Arabic. Only 7 who could write Arabic. But yet, the Quran says, Iqra. Knowledge is very, very important. And the committee also chose Dr. Zagoon. I've been working with Zagoon for more than 25 years. He's somebody who's committed to the development of education of Muslims. Since he was in the university, we were organizing lectures, classes for those who could not make their grades. To organize for them, to pave way for them, to write their exams and qualify to go to university. So this means that somebody who is concerned, the Prophet said that, Malaya, those who don't show interest, those who are not concerned about the Muslim affair, they are not Muslims. So each one of us should make sure that we always show concern about Islam, concern about everybody. Hijra has taken this to be very, very important because there are a lot of things that we have to do. But because of the needs for education, we decided to concentrate on education. Like Hijra, the target of Hijra is to get more Muslim graduates, more Muslim doctors, more Muslim engineers, more Muslim lawyers. We know that there are Muslims who qualify to go to university, to go to tech, but because of financial problem, they don't get admission. So Hijra has decided that we should concentrate on scholarship. Those who are qualified and cannot go or not allow their education, that's Hijra to go. So this is the book of this. Alhamdulillah. And now we're introducing Dr. Zagoon, who is already in the field and has been doing it since he was a student, and now he's a doctor and is still working with the development of Muslim education. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala.
Thank you so much, Mustafa Ibrahim. May Allah reward you. May Allah reward all of us who are here. Give us strength. Before we proceed to the main lecture, it is important that we briefly reflect on the vision and journey of the organization that has brought us together today. Hijra Club was established with a noble mission to support brilliant but financially disadvantaged Muslim students in tertiary institutions and to promote educational empowerment within our communities. Through scholarship, mentorship, and intellectual engagement such as this Ramadan lecture series, the club continues to contribute meaningfully to the development of the Muslim Ummah in Ghana. To share with us a brief history of the information and vision of Hijra Club, I respectfully invite Alhaji Council to address us.
Assalamu alaikum. This is a short history background of the Hijra Club for those who have not heard of the club. So Hijra Club is a non-profit social club that was established in November 1992 by a group of Muslim professionals, intellectuals, and businessmen with the sole aim of improving the lot of Muslim community in social, religious, and educational sectors. In its early years, the club organized several social, religious lectures and activities to educate the community, and also presented papers to Parliament during the debates of the two Islamic holidays. So basically, it was a group of successful people from the zone who really wanted to give back and came together and formed the Hijra Club. And the two debates I was talking about are the two holidays, Islamic holidays that were originally given to the Muslims. Last year we had two additional ones. During this period, the Hijra Club attracted a large number of educated Muslims, both in public, private, education, and security services, who identified with the activities of the club. So the club numbers grew up to about 50 at one point. It was during this period that the Hijra performed its charitable works to the community. We can't talk about the Hijra Club without talking about the original trustees. Dr. Hassan Mohammed, former Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana and former Ambassador to Saudi Arabia. We have already mentioned Alhaji Yusuf Ibrahim, the current chairman. Alhaji Abbas Kilba, former Executive Secretary of Lands Commission. Dr. Abu Ahmed, former MD of the defunct Bank for Housing and Construction. And Alhaji Qasim Yahya, former Director of the Bank of Ghana. And as our chairman for the event today has mentioned, all four of these are deceased today. We now have a current number of trustees, a new group of trustees. And that includes Alhaji Gado Muhammad, former MD of the Cocoa Marketing Company, Alhaji Abdul Rahman Isaka, former MD of National Industry Company, and Alhaji Aminu Futa, who was the original secretary of the club, but is now a trustee of the club and a leader in the club. let me talk to you about the flagship initiative of the club. So in 1993, the club acquired a plot of land, 1.35 acres of land behind the Accra Mall on Spintex Road. That's where our Ryan school used to be. That area was the Hijra club plot. They built a clubhouse there where they were attending their meetings, and eventually, with the help of IDB, built a school. And that's the school that our Ryan started with. Today, that school is where Ma'arif International School is located. Some of the past initiatives. Hijra Club, as we mentioned, organized several social and religious lectures, educated community, presented papers to parliament, made donations to Muslim communities in distress. During this Ramadan lectures, this has been going on for a very long time. And there used to be a show on GBC called Akida program. Hijra Club was very instrumental in that program. Some of the current things we're doing, we've donated to a number of families in distress again. There was one family in Afasini, we did to them. There was the spillage, the Volta River, Kosovo Dam spillage. Hijra Club was out to help. And many other activities, Hijra Club goes out to help. Hijra Club sponsored an e-fair for children in 2022 and has tried to do a few more things in that area as well. This lecture is, since 2022, we've been having it every year, and we have 3 lectures during the Ramadan. And Hijra Club does some counseling programs for families as well. One of the key things Hijra Club has done since 2023 is awarding of scholarships. And Hijra Club has awarded over 400 scholarships to students in tertiary education up until today. Let me just mention a few names of the active members of Hijra Club, just so you can relate to them. We have General Ahmad Abdullahi, retired. I think he's already been introduced. Al-Haji Bashir Sakibu, deceased. Al-Haji Adamu Muhammad, deceased. Dr. Umar Ben Ahmed, not here today. Rear Admiral Munir Tahiru, I've seen him in the audience. Lawyer Sheikh Sharif Toure, Al-Haji Garba Ibrahim, Al-Haji Hussein Sule and Al-Hassan Sule, Al-Haji Abdullah Mahdi, Al-Haji Abu Musa, Al-Haji Ahmad Montia, Al-Haji Sami Suka Brahma in the front seat, in the front row, Al-Haji Aminu Futa Onuba, also in the front row, Al-Haji Baba Ibrahim, also in the front row. It's important to show these names here so that you can relate to them and also to understand that the Hijra Club has, the zone community has people in leadership. Ibrahim as well. I didn't mention my name as well. I'm also a member of the Hijra Club, Tanko Alhaji Tanko Muhammad. And if I miss any name, it's because I'm trying to go with time. So those are some of the names of some of the members of the Hijra Club. And we just
Our main speaker, Dr. Haruna Zagoon-Sayeed, is a distinguished Ghanaian academic and Islamic scholar whose work bridges the fields of religion, peace building, and social development. He's a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana's Department for the Study of Religions, where he teaches and researches on Islam, interfaith relations, and religion in contemporary society. Dr. Zagoon-Sayeed holds a PhD in religion and peace building from the University of Birmingham in the United Kingdom, and his academic work continues to contribute to important conversations on religion, education, and social harmony in Ghana and beyond. Given his scholarship and peace engagements with issues affecting Muslim communities, he is uniquely positioned to address this theme: the state of Muslim education in Ghana. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please join me in warmly welcoming Dr. Zagoon Dr. Haruna Zagoon-Sayeed to give us today's lecture. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Because I'm fast, I have been a teacher and always a teacher. I hope my classroom is very ordered. So I'm going to discuss
For giving us this day to reflect on his words. Let me first appreciate Hijra Club for this wonderful conversation in every Ramadan, and also inviting me to deliver on this very important topic. Sheikh Chair, leaders of Hijra Club, my Malams and scholars present here, my fellow students, there is no time or a better time to reflect on education, as the chairman said earlier, than in the month of Ramadan. It is a month in which the Quran was revealed. And like the chairman said, the very first verses that came as the Quran talked about education, to the extent that the verse mentions the use of the pen. And so, no period is better to reflect on Muslim education than in the month of Ramadan. And again, when the Prophet ﷺ said education or seeking of knowledge is compulsory, he gave a similitude of even if you have to go to China to seek for that education. And so it means that that education is not just about Islamic knowledge, Islamic education, any other education that help the human being to develop is what the Prophet was referring to. Of course, at that time, we wouldn't go to China to seek for Islamic education when the Prophet himself was around. And the Prophet wasn't in China, he was in Arabia. And so that example tells that education is critical to the development of every community, and more particularly the Ummah. We know for a fact, a lot of scholars have done research about the connection between education and development. And I dare say that no country can develop without focusing much on education of its people. In the same way as Ummah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there is no way we could get the needed development without focusing on education. And that is why I found today's topic very, very relevant and at the right time to discuss it. Because of time, I'm going to be very short, so we can have enough time to do our discussion, our interaction. But we know about our antecedents, historical antecedents regarding education in this country as Muslims. The chairman said something very important. And I know the elders here know, by my colleague students, the first education that came to Ghana is Islamic education. It's Arabic. The first formal foreign language that came to Ghana is Arabic. And so it's Islam that introduced formal education to Ghana. Some say it was informal, But people sat down, there was a teacher, and they taught. And like Sheikh Abdul said, if you read my good friend, Professor Uso answered the Answers book, you will know. Last year, for the past 4 years, I've been doing some project with him. And last year, we published a paper together. The paper's name was titled Muslim Education in Ghana, History and New Trends. It was published in 2025 December. And so we know that, but we also know that finally when the missionaries brought Western education, Muslims delayed in accepting such education. Our fathers and forefathers mostly refused their children to receive Western education because we know the history that Western education came to this country attached to Christianity. And so they were apprehensive that once their children go to such or receive such education, they may become Christians. And at that time, it was right that they look and look again before allowing their children to accept Western education. So in the nation, we delayed in receiving Western education. And since then, there have been effort in convincing a Muslim to receive both Islamic education and Western education. I will leave you to read the book Sheikh Haruna have given to us. All this information that you can find it there. But what I call Muslim Western education revolution, Muslim Western education revolution, came in 1987. In 1987, through instrumentality of some Muslim leaders, as well as the government of the day, introduced what is called the Islamic Education Unit. And what was used to convince us at the time is that, look, you can have your own schools where you teach your Islamic studies and you also get Western education. And I want to salute somebody like Dr. Ben Abdallah, who passed on recently. May Allah have mercy on him. He was the education secretary at the time. And with other leaders, like Alhaji Moshe, also deceased, and many others, may Allah have mercy on them, to help to establish the Islamic education unit. Now, fast forward, the Islamic education unit helped a lot of Muslim children to go to school because their parents were convinced that they would get both Islamic education and Western type of education. Today, from the work we have done from Baraka Policy Institute, we know that Muslims and the Islamic Education Unit have over 2,700 units of schools. And I hear Islamic Education Unit saying all the time that apart from the Catholic Church, which has schools more than the Islamic Education Unit, they come second across the country. Is the enrollment in the Islamic Education Unit. I think we counted over half a billion at this time, where about 100,000 of our young people attending schools under the Islamic Education Unit. Chair, Islamic Education Unit schools and the kids who go to school and the Islamic Education Unit form over 80% of Muslim children who attend public basic school. And what it means is that majority of Muslim children go to Islamic education in the schools. I know we have some of our children who are in some private schools and other schools, but we can say on authority that the majority of our Muslim children will start their education. But the point is that our schools are not in good shape. Our system today in the Islamic education unit is not working properly. We have very dilapidated classrooms, and you go there and you think, sometimes you go somewhere, what's the of the schools? But I think in the 21st century, would you have such a classroom for a child to sit and learn? So this problem has been there all these years. So in 2016, leading it is not working the way it's supposed to be. And also, how do we navigate bringing improvement in the Islamic education unit? We did this for 4 years, from 2016 to 2020. And we identified 3 main problems. That's bedeviling the Islamic education unit. One is ownership. Second is funding. And third is quality. And they have connection, they have linked. We realize that the Muslim community is not owning the Islamic education as it's supposed to be. The Muslim community think that the public Islamic schools and the Islamic education, and indeed we have individuals who call themselves proprietors of these schools. They were the founders of this school. But the school is a public school, wherever they find them. The schools are public schools. But yet the Muslim community are not connected to them. Their children go to those schools, and yet they don't care about what goes into those schools. Because they have assumed that the schools are for some individuals. And that is the problem. That has been the agreement. And so, whilst government produces teachers, it is better that the Muslim communities will enhance the schools by producing proper infrastructure and also producing other educational facilities that are needed. But we are not able to do our part of the bargain. And when this school started, government took Arabic teachers, in addition to the other classroom teachers, to pay them. Funding. Clearly, we didn't care about the schools, so they only paid funding. Then the issue of quality. Once there is no funding, there is no logistics, definitely you don't expect such schools to perform better. I have worked in WAEC. I worked 10 years before I left WAEC. I left 2015. And in the first time that there was BEC, and luckily I was in the BEC department. I was there for 7 years. I would check every Islamic school's performance. And consistently, for many years, a lot of them were not doing. And it's not the fault of the child. It is the fact that we haven't built a system that enables that child, that intelligent Muslim child, to try, not to try. Chair, we will need to look at the Islamic education unit. Because as an education, the foundation of every education is the beginning. It's critical. And once you go along, you see that because there's not that very quality foundation, its ripple effects affects even the type of secondary school we get and whether we can go to university or not. So it is the area I will urge Muslim leaders to look at. At the secondary school level, Muslims at the moment have over 40 senior high schools in this country. Last time I was telling somebody said he thought we didn't have so many schools. We have over 40 senior high schools in Ghana, and majority of them are public access. About 95% of them are public access. But like I said, because of the problem we have at the down there, the kind of students we get in these schools are rich students. And therefore, these schools, majority of them too are not doing well. Majority of these senior high schools are not doing well because the foundation is weak. But again, these schools, apart from few schools, are not considered to be schools for the Ummah. It's considered to be schools for a particular sect or some group of individuals. That's the name Islam, but Muslims don't have so much say, in these schools. And that's another thing we need to look at. And because we have segregated ourselves so much, but Tijaniya is building a school, some other student individuals are building schools, some Shia is having school, segregated. We are not able to fund the schools well. We are not able to resolve the schools well. And that is why they can't perform well. It's just, natural. In these schools, and we'll come to see it later, in these schools, majority of them don't do science. The 21st century, the way to go is science. The way to get employment is science. The way to get in there to check things is science. The 21st century. What would you like for this? But most of these schools are doing general as business. They don't do general science. And so if you want to get students to do medicine, students to do law, engineering, students to do lab technology, nursing, what will you get them from? Because majority of the students are here. And so when the chairman was saying that we need to be everywhere, it is very true, but the foundation that will make us go everywhere is very weak. And that we need to pay attention to that. At the tertiary level, in 2016, BPI, Vatican Policy Institute, did a research to know how many Muslims are doing medicine. And across the major 5 public universities in Ghana, medicine, engineering, nursing, law, and even education. Chair in all the participating universities, University of Ghana, UCC, University of Cape Coast, KUST, UTS, and many. We realize that less than 1% of Muslims are doing medicine, engineering, nursing, and even law. And surprisingly, what we found is that even in education, we don't have a lot of Muslims there. We are making noise of building more schools, and yet we don't have people who will man those schools. And I know Muslim children, they don't like education. They don't like to go to be a teacher. They want to be big businessmen. They want to hold big money. They want to be, but they don't want to become teachers. But the point is that if we don't get more teachers, who will teach our children in our school? You know, it's located at the Muslim populated area, and we think it's the north, and Muslims connect to the north. Majority of their students in these competitive courses were not Muslims. Even at TVs, were not Muslims. And there was no any, even in media, there was no any concession for Muslims in this competitive courses. And so, we can see clearly that what the chairman said, if we want to get there where we find Muslims in very important places, we are far away behind. We are far away behind. We don't want to go and see dot. If you go to one school, one Muslim, or go to the University of Ghana and this department, only one Muslim. We want to participate in nation building. And if you want to participate in nation building, we must get access to these competitive courses to be able to help us, participate fully. But also, Chair, we have also done research on Tibet. We did 2 years ago. We wanted to know the state of Tibet in Ghana. So we initiated a study in the family secondary school to teach. In the meantime, whilst we wait for government to appoint Islamic teachers, we don't care. And so that's another thing. So somebody talk about Islamic identity. Our identity is the fact that we are in our school and we are combining learning our religion with Western education. And we don't have this latitude. Chair, we will need to reset the agenda for the education of Muslims in this country. Because Muslim education must have a philosophy. And that philosophy should lead every Muslim child in getting that type of education that a Muslim child should have. You must be an engineer and you still know your religion. You can be a medical doctor and you must be very, very, very good at your religion. This is the kind of education that we need to have. We have tried getting Islamic universities, but even at Islamic University, Ghana, there is no tailored system that trains the Muslim student. We had Lakeside University. We have not been able to handle it in a way that, as we speak right now, it is dying. It's a university brought for Muslims. And they started with science, but they were not even getting the science students. So that's why I said, if the foundation is weak, it affects the top. Allah Sharif is here. He knows the difficulties Lakeside went through. And now they are winding up to go back and restart. And so I think that we need to, as leaders, and I want to put it in front of Hijra, who is interested in the education of Muslims, we must look at how to reset Muslim education in this country. I'm not using the word reset as a politician. I'm using it as a Muslim activist. In 2022, Chair, we assembled, Baraka Policy Institute assembled Muslim scholars and educators across the country to develop what we call Muslim education strategy. But all the religious unit, they have it. The Catholic unit have the Catholic education strategy. Methodists have. Okay, Presbyterian, they have. But we don't even have our own strategy. So we assembled. I think we started this arrangement with a small group. Shekaria was part of that group before we now escalated it. And then when the National Muslim Conference was established, we now involved them to get all people across the country, scholars, like Cambodia, from Tamale, Dr. Rabi Kama, all Muslim educators together to develop Muslim education strategy. It was developed, but it needs implementation. And that implementation must be done by the Muslim community. This is Muslim education strategy. All the things that we need for good Muslim education is in there. We have a Muslim education philosophy in there. We have objectives in there. We have everything that we think that if Ghanaian Muslims do, it will enhance our education and make us participate more effectively in nation building in this country. In conclusion, Chair, we need concerted effort as an ummah to tackle the challenges that face us in our education. And I think that Hijra Club is well placed to lead this change. If we want to develop, then we must emphasize on education. Otherwise, we will still be where we are part of this country, but it seems that always we are waiting for somebody to come and develop us. And I think if you want to begin that change process, it must begin from the basic. We must tackle the foundation of education. Otherwise, it will have ripple effect, at the senior high school level and also at the university level. I think that Muslims must come together, because if you want to do this in segregation, then we can't actually resolve the problem. The challenge is huge. I said somewhere that the challenges facing Muslims in this country, the gap of development that we need to fit in or close is over 100 years. And no single Muslim group can be able to do it unless all of us come together. So, and when I say 100 years, I begin from when even, Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission came to Ghana. It came to Ghana in 1921. And if you trace, since that time up to today, we are more than 100 years. Since that time up to today, we haven't been able to do something huge as a community. We'll be doing something individually, small, but they are not coming together to do the magic, to bring the effect that we expect within our Muslim communities and also within our country, Ghana. On this note, I want to thank Hijra Club for giving the opportunity to express my experience and views on Muslim education in Ghana. Thank you very much.
So join me in, I'm not doing the chairman's work, I'm going to moderate this second part of this discussion, but at least I would say join me in congratulating my younger brother Zagoon, whom I have known for a while, close association with him for a long time, for this practical presentation on the state of Islamic education, or state of education among Muslims in Ghana. Please, can you give me a look at comments with respect to how we perceive how we work with them, how we can improve our educational system. The note on which he ended. So Hijra Club, we have a big challenge because he has put the thing on your shoulders. At that time, our chief power, who attempted to assist us do something about Islamic education, we were assembled at the Institute of Global Government States. At that time, I forgot his name, his past. When we were trying to come up with a vision for Islamic education, the critical question he raised was the question. Not what the one who was working with the current president as his executive secretary, his past, or his power. Yes. He asked the critical question whether those of us assembled there really represent the mindset of the totality of Muslims. He asked that critical question. Who are we? So that is the thing. So what develops the philosophy of Muslims? Because every educational system has got its basis, its historical context and expectations. So it emanates. So what is a traditional, very broadly speaking, build exclusion of quality that we do? And so that is one of the challenges. The issue of ownership is very critical. So we can all debate this. How do we make sure that Islamic education unit is owned by the Muslim community, not by any section of society? So that when it comes to contribution, now let me hand it out for this. Brother Zagoon, I thought you will address, you mentioned in passing that the first literary system that was introduced in Ghana is Islamic literary tradition. I'm talking about the literacy. So that gave birth to what we call the Islamic traditional learning system of the Makaranta. The Makaranta is still relevant, but it is also a system that is not working very well for us. In fact, the Makaranta is the first Islamic public institution where every child is going to be given the rudiment of Islamic life training. From the home, the first place that every child is taken to is the Makaranta. Like we all did. You all did. I'm a true product of the Makaranta system. Nalaji and Kowa, we all go to Makaranta. But Makaranta here is critical to Islamic moral, educational, and ethical training of every single child. How are they handled? And that's why, thanks to Hijra Club, years back we have to start doing the Hijra or the Saturday Islamic classes at the Libyan Cultural Center. Because we wanted to fill in a gap. Most of our young ones were going to the school, very expensive schools, and they were not getting the Islamic side of their life. So we have now created a system where we can now fill in the gap. But the Makaranta system, in my view, is as critical as it was before and now. But how we can really make a contribution to build it up, for example, a common curriculum for all our Makaranta systems, a payment system. How do we pay these Makaranta teachers? What kind of training and skills do they need? So that apart from the school that we are going, now we have where our children are trained, our Quran, well recited. Those are things that I think we must also give our attention to. So I'll just tease out these issues to make the discussion very, very, very interactive and impactful. So let me stop here and then open the floor take the, as usual, I'll take the first 5, and then if the time permits, we'll come back and take another. It can be a question, it can be a contribution. Can be a contribution, snappy. Right. So the chairman himself wants to, let's take the chairman's comments.
I would like to remark. As he said, you are opening the forum for those who want to contribute for what are persons. But because of limited time, you have to go straight to the point. Don't waste our time and go by thinking that we do. But now, the first question or contribution should go to General Ahmed Abdullah, the first general from Lima.
Assalamu alaikum. Education happens to be my passion. So wherever it's being discussed, I can't keep quiet. I want to look at education from a wider perspective. Because our chairman here told us, not chairman, the late speaker, mentioned the Holy Prophet himself asking that if education is at China, we should go there. And obviously, Chinese are not going to teach Islamic education, whatever education. I happen to have attended a function. The name Haruna is here. The the education unit in Ayawaso decided to meet the elders of Lima, and I was invited. And it was plain talk. We had people who were teachers, headmasters, and all sort of people within the educational stakeholders group. The major issue was that we were not doing well at all. Muslim students were not doing well. And they wanted to find out why. What was very obvious was that we didn't attach the same importance to education as others. For instance, if you want people with taurin cake, then you come to our boys. And taurin cake is associated with discipline. So he goes to the school and he doesn't take instructions. Our parents, we parents and wards, we send our wards to school. We don't keep those people in school. We give them chop money, go to school. And there are some people who don't even know the schools where their kids attend. They don't. All they care is that take some money, go to school. We don't attend PTAs. Most Muslim parents, they don't have time for PTAs. When you look at our ladies and they go for functions and you look at the dresses they wear, I'm sorry, if I'm putting you are that and they, so very expensive. So money cannot be a factor. We just send these people to school, they are not motivated, they are not disciplined. We don't check if they are in school. It is not sufficient sending your child to school or you want to school. It is important keeping that word in school. And there are things you do to keep that word in school. Visiting the school, finding out how the ward is doing, all these things are important. We don't do all these things. Institutional-wise, like Hijra and the rest, fine. But I think the parents have the first responsibility. You, the parent, sitting down, you should be able to know where your son or child attends school. You should be able to attend, like, how do you call that thing? PTA meetings. The results that they come with. My time, we had reports, school reports. How many times the child attends school, they mark it, roll call. and the position of, we should be interested in all these things. Then at the societal level, we should be able to find out an arrangement where we can mentor, these little kids so that they also aspire to be like, the sheikhs here. But when we sit down and, we just think going to school means your child leaving the house, there is a problem. Recently, there's this place around the Nima police station, behind the Nima police station. When our kids leave school, when they leave the house, that's where they go to. And they do all sorts of things there. They don't go to the classrooms. The last SSE results that came, in my community, I think we had like 90% females. 90%. So, Hijra is fine. Hijra means business. But you, the parents, what are you doing? I think first and foremost, that responsibility is on your head. The chairman is here talking about homework and all those things. So let us also show some interest. There was an issue the speaker raised about the Islamic identity. I want to bring it down. Yesterday I was here for iftar, and the minister was telling us, the interior minister was telling us that our prison population, the Muslim population in prison, is very, very high. How many people or how many institutions arrange to go to prisons, hospitals, to offer some support for these people? We don't do it as a community. When you go to hospital and you are sick, visiting hours, you see Christians come around to come and preach, and we don't do all these things. And these are little things we can do to bring up our image. If we're thinking about any group like Hijra taking this exclusively on its head, I think it would be a little bit of a problem. I would want to spread the responsibility so that collectively, probably we can do better than we are doing. As of now, we are not doing well at all.
That's our opportunity. Thank you so much. Thank you. Is there any other questions or contribution?
I'm helping you. So, yeah, so there's a
full knowledge on how the Hijra scholarships are being operated. But I'm so much excited to hear that over 400 students are covered under this scholarship. The basic question that I ask is, when these 400 students are trained to become professionals, what next? So I would want to suggest to the Hijra Club to adopt what we call serial reciprocity, where you help one person, binding the person, I am giving you scholarship to become a professional doctor, to become a professional teacher. I don't need anything from you. All I need is for you to also help one person out of your family to either become a teacher or to graduate from university. In this case, several years down the line, even when the Hijra, the founders are no more there, the effect is still going to go down generations upon generations. So we need to bind the beneficiaries. And I have three. One other thing that I think Muslim community have to look at is we have all missed that particular foundation, and that has to do with teaching our young ones the principles and the values of Islamic religion. Most often our makarantas are concentrating, even a larger percentage of Muslims are so excited or they feel fulfilled when they see their child being able to recite the Quran. That is it. But the values, what the Quran teaches, that one, once you can recite the Quran, that's all. We need to concentrate on the values of and the principles of Islam. That is why you will see a child in the forest being able to recite the Quran fluently, but engage in tramadol, in weed smoking. He reads the Quran, but he doesn't understand the value and the principles. And the last one has to do with how do we, as Muslims, determine what donors or donations are to be used towards our Islam. Because you go around the country, you see a lot of mosques, Qatar is and other is. People are benefiting from the contracts. He doesn't care whether people are using the mosque or not. Meanwhile, there's a dilapidated classroom block. And we have gone to build about 3 mosques in a particular village where they are not even up to 200. One is even locked, and termites are eating up the doors. Can we, as Muslims, decide where the donors or whatever donation is coming to the country will be applied? Thank you.
Zagoon, you taking your notes, because Sheriff, you also be taking some notes so that we can respond to it. Brother Sami.
Did some work on it and realized that in the sciences or medicine, there's just 1% of Muslims. So you ask yourself, what happened? And when you go back to the senior high schools, and you realize that Muslim students, a lot of them, just don't even qualify to go to the senior high schools, but they go there just by the fact that somebody helps them. Somebody came to me with his son's results. He had 40-something, 47. And he wanted me to get him into a school. And I was like, I can't do this. Because I know honestly that he doesn't qualify to go to that school. So why should I go and appeal to the headmaster to get this boy into the school? And anyhow, a lot of them even, it's just by name that they're in senior high school. But maybe 60-70% of the time, they are not in school. About occasions when we call that students from different schools, I don't want to mention the schools, have met at a certain place, and it's a war. They're just fighting. They left the classrooms and went there. So some of these things, we have to look at it. What can we do? And if you say parents, yes, parents, they can even drop them at the school.
Education is one of the things. So I was going to raise the question as to what do we do in addressing this, especially in the area of sensitizing parents to see education as a priority. So, Sami, you have brought up this issue again, I'm sure. Free Association of Muslim Professionals?
Yes.
Muslim Academy, year out was organizing free, and students who had poor results were being assisted to improve their, and those who were in school also were being assisted to write and make. And I think that the picture is not that gloomy the way we are painting it. Out of that, there were many students improved their results, and they entered into the universities, and they have made a lot of, many of them have benefited. I worked some years back with the Iranian Cultural Consulate also, and a lot of that remedial classes were organized during vacation to assist Muslim students. So the solution has been there, but maybe in later times we are not putting in more effort as it should be. Maybe we should now begin to, with Hijra Club coming up, probably we should begin to look at that aspect, whether we can do something about it. Yeah, so let's get, we have just 2 questions. Today we may be, yes, we have 2 women from behind there, yes.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I would first of all like to commend Hijra for the scholarships that they are providing to needy students. I want to suggest that we should look at improving basic education. And the basic, that's very important. I work with United Way Ghana. They have this program that they call Improving Basic Education. They work in communities, usually they get sponsorships, and the donors decide which communities they want to work in. They work with the communities, engage the parents, provide basic school needs for the children, and try to monitor how the children are doing and how the teachers are doing. Train teachers, have meetings with the parents on how the parents or what role they can also play in the education of their children. And it's been very successful. I'd like to suggest to Hijra Club, if they could contact United Way Ghana and maybe give them some funding on some pilot basis to try it in one of our schools, see how effective it is. And I think if we can channel a lot of funds into this to improve our basic schools, I think that would be very important, because as I said, that's where the foundation is. If the foundation is not good, no matter how high they go, it will not, or it will not benefit a lot more people. But if we start from the basic school and then get the teachers, the parents and the teachers involved, I think we'll be able to improve our education. Thank you.
Yes, let's take the other one.
Thank you. Dr. Zagoon raised some very key areas affecting education. He mentioned ownership, quality, and funding. I want to dwell on funding. I think we have this notion where we think our schools can only be funded by foreigners or foreign donors. But I think it's time that we try to come as a group. Because he mentioned the fact that we cannot handle this issue of education in segregation, but we have to come together as one community to handle it. I realized that when I was trying to organize fundraising for Formwork school projects, we had on several occasions presented our documentations to these foreign donors. And for so many years, we never had anybody coming forward to help us. But when I took over as the chairperson of the fundraising, I decided we are going to do it ourselves. We started with envelope. In fact, and then 1 CD every week. And we saw that members were contributing. And alhamdulillah, I would say that we're able to do a significant, we're able to do something significant on that land. Currently, we have found the whole land, which is about 30 plots of land, and we have started 6 classroom foundation. The last time we met at one of the forum where Islamic banking hosted Muslim organization, I think Hijra Club was represented, and other organizations, Formwork was also there. When we all submitted our projects and their submissions, we realized that they grouped us into different grouping, education, and the rest. And I remember on that day, they grouped Formwork, Anissa, and Hijra together and said that we should find a way of helping each other. That shows the strength of unity. Even though these are foreign donors, they had to ask us to do it ourselves. So it's only when we come together as one community, coming together to discuss issues affecting us and getting the solution. That is the only way that we can do something to help in education. Thank you.
So the issue of ownership still comes up, and the need for us to get united. So any other question or so probably I should come back to the table, and there are those that you want to respond, and then the Sheriff also want to respond to a few of the comments.
The principle is to appeal to human conscience when we give scholarships. It's rare that it does happen. Largely people on their own would give away sometimes all of their possessions, all of their money, needed to this one recently that gave hundreds of millions of dollars to Yeshiva University so that students would have scholarships to medical school. By the same token, you expect, especially for Muslims who are guided by the principle, we give and don't expect you to pay us back. We expect you to pay it forward. In other words, each individual, from their own Islamic training and sense of community, would be expected, and often, almost always in fact, each one of us here has the obligation to pay zakat and do sadaqat and so on. And Muslims are very good at doing that. So we at the Hijra Scholarship Board have taken the attitude that let's cast their breads upon the waters, as it were, and thou shalt find them in big fish. And that's the attitude, rather than try to hold people down and say, okay, we paid 100,000 cedis for your education, we expect you to give it to somebody. How do you monitor that, for instance? It's a good idea, but it's practically very difficult. The second one is to take the benefit of having Dr. Zagoon here to tell us a little bit about the solutions. We've heard a lot about the problems. It is not just in Ghana that we see these problems. And it's not just in Muslim communities. Muslim communities, by and large, have suffered from being at the, if you like, back door, being in the back of scientific and other developments since the 1400s. Many blame Imam Ghazali for it, but it's probably unfair. But generally, even within the international community, it is known that Muslims have contributed very little to scientific achievements today, right after the 1400s. Look at the Nobel Prizes and see how many in science, for instance, have gone to Muslims. Look at our brethren in Nigeria, in northern Nigeria, compared to the rest of the country. Look at them all over. It's not just in Ghana. So, and it's not just for Muslims. Wherever there are minorities, these problems can be happening. How have they been successful in Malaysia, for example, where the native population compared to the Chinese and others found themselves falling behind? In America, we see in the black community is lagging very, very far back. The problems you identified here with prison populations and drug addiction and so on and so forth are precisely what you expect to see in a minority community such as ours. So Dr. Zagoon, if you give us the benefit of your experience about what solutions work. Thank you.
In this country. And I'm saying that no one single organization or sect can resolve that problem. There must be a way to bring all Muslims together. And like Dr. Umu was saying, we have the resources, but because we are doing things in our individual, in our sectarian ways, we are able to galvanize the resources, mobilize the resources, and work together. And so if we come together, we should be able to resolve some of our problems. One tragedy that happens to a minority group is when they are minority, they are also divided. You are minority, and you are also divided. Nobody will take care of you. And so that is one challenge we need to resolve. And we can do that when we are together. But again, I've been saying that Muslims, especially in this country, have done a lot of work on Muslims in this country. Sometimes we think that all of us must come together before we can do something. Sometimes we think that if we want to do something for the Ummah, everybody must come around. And the guy who's not around will want to sabotage those who are around doing it. But the Quran says, وَتَقُلِكُمْ أُمَّةٌ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ Allah said, let there be among you, and here Allah was talking to Muslims, let there be among you those who call people to good. So, it's not everyone. So, that's why we say, Hijra Club, you are doing something. You can also identify others who are doing the same thing. Bring them together. Together you can do something. No, we are not saying that everything Hijra. But you have shown the way that you think about the Muslim community. There are many other organizations that are also doing the same. Can you bring them together to be able to resolve the problem? And so, once we don't come together and we don't identify, like minds that can help us, then the issue remains the same. There was an issue about school-home collaboration. School-home. Like you said, there must be always a collaboration between parents and the school. And I have said here, last year, that Muslims in Ghana need serious parenting conference. We have a problem with parenting. We must accept it. And so I will expect from region to region us to engage parents on the issues that parents must do. We need parenting conference to be able to orientate parents, Muslim parents, about their duties. Life begins from family level before it goes to the larger community. And so if you don't get people who are in charge, like we were saying, if you send your child to school and you don't care whether he goes to school or not, but if you can, you follow up, get the teachers, engage the teachers to know whether your children are always in school or not. And like Ghana was saying, we don't even go to PTA meetings. Those who do well are even our mothers. As for our fathers, they don't go to PTA meetings. And yet, we are in charge. We are the leaders, in our various households. And so, we will need to get that collaboration, between school and the home in a way that is so effective that a child cannot miss school. There are homes today, in my way, I've met many students who want to go to school, who are fighting, forcing, but they don't get any support from their parents. They themselves want to do something, go to school, and they don't get the commitment from their parents. So we will need to work on the issue of him, and I'm happy FAMWA is here. But FAMWA is dealing with women, our mothers, and who are already doing well. Our mothers are doing well. Our fathers are not doing well when it comes to, following up and collaborating with the school to ensure that your child does, what is good. I think that, and again, Adia gave us a very important model, the United Way Ghana model. I worked with United Way Ghana from the beginning, was part of the funders. Okay, they, put something, they do certain experiments to see how things are going. We can copy them. We can also get them to brief us, how to sustain children at school and get them to do better. Thank you.
Zagoon, there was something I wanted to address.
Yes, sir.
The Barakat policy actually engaged in some very, very significant steps aimed at improving Islamic education, generally within Islamic education. One of them is the idea to develop what we call the model schools, which I know it was something on your table. You didn't talk about it. And then the strategic plan itself. So I raised the question, where did we stop? And since the idea of the model schools came up, because the model school is to give us a model that we can use now to develop, to extend it to all the other schools as part of our improvement system. So I thought that since that was done, you would also say a few things, not necessarily in the negative way, which is a good example, but even from your side, Baraka policy, I'm sure that something was started along that line. The issue of the I think it's a very important point that has been raised. When you train your child generously and you bring him up, you sponsor him to move on and become successful. The idea is that he will also take care of the other young ones who are coming within the family, but he becomes a role model. So even though we are not putting pressure, demanding it specifically, but there must be a way to orient beneficiaries of our scholarship. But when they become successful, they should also be thinking so that then we can find the multiplied effect, of the scholarship that we offer them, so that then that will accelerate the pace at which we are moving and providing people with that education. So that has been called, but I want you to address this issue before we wind up and the chairman will make his remarks.
Thank you very much, Chef. So, like I said, from 2016, BPI, Vatican Policy Institute, started engaging the Islamic education unity and see how it can be re-engineered. And having seen the challenges facing it, and looking at our abysmal performance across the country, we brought up a program called Targeted Educational Improvement Project. Targeted Educational Improvement Project within Islamic education team. And here we went around the country and selected just about 40 schools out of the 2,000 and something schools that they have. And say that in these schools, let's start making them a model school. A school where you go and you find Islamic identity that I was talking about. A school that you go and you find facilities. So in every region, we earmark at least 2 schools in the entire region. Greater Accra, Kumasi, Tamale, we give them 4 schools because they are bigger cities. And we were able to, at a time, get the government in power at the time, through the Zagoon Development Fund, to give them textbooks. But at the time, that even there was no text in any school. They were able to buy textbooks for these schools. And from our checks, this has helped those who were in JSS at the time, JSS 2, that's those schools, to perform better. But since then, we were trying to get people to support in a way that we can improve this selected targeted schools, and gradually to get out of the problem that we are. We have been struggling, the Islamic education have been struggling in getting people to support them. And so this is one of the things that we can do gradually to improve our schools. Yeah, the Imam said, in the Lala, you are coming, nobody will come and do for us. We must start the process of changing our schools ourselves. But when we get the opportunity of government supporting our community, we must direct government to some of these challenges. Okay? You want to give us Shinkafa, go, Bamuso Shinkafa, go into our school and just do this in our schools. But if you don't know the problem, then you can't even direct. But now we know the problem. We have cataloged these problems, we have also started some initiative. Whatever we can get the support to be able to make it work, we must make it work. The education strategy was fully developed, it's there, and it needs implementation. Okay, you will need like-minded, good organizations like Hijra to be able to help see how best we can help. And so, like we asked, who should begin? Who should speak for the Muslim community? Who should? But if you want to get everybody to come on board before we do something for the Muslim community, we will never move. And so when we see good organizations like Hijra Club and others, then we want to leverage on them for them to also stretch out to others to come and support, so that we can begin to move in resolving the problems small. That's why we mentioned Hijra Club. We'll continue to mention Hijra Club because you've shown the way that you can help us, re-engineer the Muslim community, especially in the area of education. Thank you, sir.
The problem of Muslim education in Ghana is very intricate, very, very complex, and finding its solution can be very puzzling. We'll continue to be discussing. Oh, okay. The Executive Secretary of the Islamic Education Unit Council, Father Zagoon, you did not even trace the history to tell us how we even came to this point. Because we have to deal with limitations within the Islamic Education Council and how to use it as a means to empower education. So addressing those, that is how come General Admiral Dairo was now appointed as the Executive Secretary of the Islamic Education Council, having come on board with experience, because where he left off in his public service was that he was in charge of the military academy and training school. So with his administrative background, and indeed with his also military disciplinary approach, he could bring something on board. So now he wants to also make a contribution. I think it is right that we have to give him the chance to also make a contribution. So,
I think I didn't put up my hand much earlier. Because whatever I'm here to do is a teamwork. It's the lecture. So we touch on these things. And I was also looking at the paucity of time available. So we thought this was whatever the lecturer was to do was to tease out certain things, to wake us up to what we are planning to see to the problem that we are raising, the problem of ownership, the problem of delivery, and the problem of funding. But that having been said, the National Council of Islamic Education Unit, for quite some time, we've not even held our annual meeting, mainly because of funding. Because when you do, you have to call everybody from the regions, our regional managers of education, the regional committee that oversees education. When we come, it's quite a huge budget. And if there is an orphan organization, it's the Islamic Education Unit. Being religious-based, we compared from our Christian brothers. The Christian Education Unit, and if you come to the best of them, I want to say, is the Ahmadiyya Education Unit. We think the Christians are doing well, but any time you go to attend a meeting with them and complain about you not doing well, they say, no, you are only here to tease us because we are all copying from Ahmadiyya. See, they are able to do these things so well that funding is not an issue for them because their schools are attached to the church. Every kobo that is donated on a Sunday offertory, there is a stated percentage of it that goes toward the maintenance of their schools. So, government, for instance, thinks that Islamic education units should be able to do the same. But who are going to do it? The churches are supporting the schools. Which mosque is able to support itself, let alone support schools? You go to the mosque, even the water that you use for ablution, people are always crying for money to pay the water bill. Money to pay for power that you use in the mosque. Or you can't pray Maghrib and Isha in darkness, there must be light. You can't pay your water bills.
So how do you support the schools? So that's why I say Islamic Education is an orphan organization. And most of our schools were put up with monies from the Middle East. They are works. They are works. When we say works, endowment. They built our schools as endowment, gift to the community of Ghana. The lecturer talked about, individuals owning the schools. They don't own them. It's the community that owns them. Because the principles under which the Arab donors come in, one principle is that they will not go on any private land to put up anything. They want a community land before they invest, so that no group of persons or individual can claim it. But I would say that the rest of the Muslim Ummah have abdicated in this regard. The thing was built for the community. Individuals are claiming them, and we sit back and we think we allow them to take it over. The Christian community, you wouldn't see it. Muslim mission, they used to be part of us. I like Apedu and the rest. It took them to court. The schools that were put up, Apedu and the rest wanted to capture them. Dr. Amin Bosu and the rest, young as they were, took them on. And I remember Justice John, then private lawyer, he offered them free legal service. Eventually, Apedu and the rest were begging not to go to prison and let go all those things. Today, what Muslim mission is able to do, the rest of the Sunni Ummah put together, we are able to do. They have established a college of education, and all their schools are doing well. Our schools, like I always say, I refer to them, we are in Asfal Safili, the lowest of the lows. We have the numbers, but in terms of performance, you can only find us in the doldrums. What are we doing? We have to wake up as a community. Muslim Ummah, we must wake up. The school that we think others are claiming is not theirs. These were works given to the Muslim Ummah. So, by the end of the third quarter, before the end of the third quarter, National Council of Islamic Education Unit has the intention of organizing, stakeholders conference. We are giving everybody the lead time so that everybody, all organizations, Formwa, Hijra, all, put your houses in order and come out there. Come out there with suggested solution that we can all together, put into action to salvage our situation. But as it is now, I maintain what I always said in Hijra and in all places that I've been, that we, the educated ones, who have the responsibility to uplift our Ummah, are the virus of our community. Our inaction, our misdirected action, and whatever contributes to what we have. Because when people look at those of us here, they are reluctant to come to help. Because even in their society, when they want assistance, some of us they consult to, as it were, raise them up. So they don't think we need any help. That's why they don't come. So we just have to wake up. Take hold of what is community home and run it as a community owned thing, and give it direction.
time of sitting on the fence is over. The fence is so heavily laid. If we don't take care, the fence will collapse. It will be an open society that can be invaded by just anybody who doesn't want us. This having been said, I hope everybody will be thinking towards that stakeholders meeting, what they will bring to bear. We'll contact the various organizations, see what you have, so that when we come to program of what that thing should be, then we'll do it.
Thank you so much. Well, can you better? We'll go to the chairman, so we can make this remarks.
Thank you so much, all those students, and I have to add for at least those are issues for us to deliberate on them. Concerning ownership of schools, some years back, whenever we build a school, we hand it over to the community. We will take it over and be directed to the school. After some years, we will go back to the system. Everything is organized. So we decided to, some years back, we bought big land from our own resources and built 20 classrooms and had it over the government. We were not just in the government, only for the school to run properly. If government, we were waiting for the unit to come and do the renovation or repair. They didn't do it. We have to look for money to go and do the renovation and hand it over again. Why is it? There's some confusion between ourselves and the general who just spoke. A school at Leroy Town. That school was built in about 50 years ago. Fresh. We hand over the school, to government. Since then, the school was a serious problem. They didn't do anything. They were expecting us to go and do the renovation. How can we do that? You are taking the money. We don't take any money. And this land, we bought it from all resources. Because we realize that the Muslims around need education. That's why we sacrifice. Sometimes we even add our money. How do you see those buildings? But it's not in bad shape. And you expect us to bring money and renovate it. What you do, you are making money, you collect some money, you don't give to anybody. Quite right. That's good. We get the wishes. Now, they have decided that we are no longer going to be into the government again. We will do it and seek partnership with government. We are not interested in that. We are not interested in that. But we want quality education. Quality education is very, very, very important. We don't want to go in it. We don't want to go in school. It's unfortunate that the managers of these private schools, they don't manage well. They do it outdoor. So the school is not like ordinary school. For instance, you put up a school, give it to a student associate. Maybe they don't know why they went around to supervise what's going on. But you cry. The students, I don't do well. I remember the students talking about that. We were doing very, very well. But we decided to give the government. From that day, the school declined. This is our ownership. So those who say that the owners of the schools don't take it, it's not our fault. Once the government has given you the authority to be managers of those schools, you have to get involved. Those that are going to get them involved. But you don't want to get involved. And you charge some money, and this money to, if it is there, you don't give it to the directors and the auditors. Why this so? Unless something properly is done, that any school that is handed over to the government, those in charge should involve the community there. Be part of it. Why is it that the Christian schools, they pay money. The Arabs say, "Kullu rahisun ghali wa kullu ghali." Every cheap thing is expensive. Because they don't repay it, they don't do anything. They don't take their children to private schools. Why should I put a school give it to the small education? And the teachers there in the head of charge don't send their children to private school. Why we continue doing that? I think that's the matter address. So I call on the managers of this so-called government school to get them and reorganize. Otherwise, most of the schools which are behind the battle are regretting. They are regretting now. Why? Because it is number two, what Dr. Jack said about discrimination, about the vision, is true. It's unfortunate that if you don't belong to some family or rich families, your children will deny the causes that most people want. I have examples. Two of my children are here. He wanted to do medicine. The first one applied at Kumasi. They give us all the courses except medicine. Even though she qualified. Because the name is a Muslim, you should deny. We know she will qualify. So she has to help her finish her course and go back to do medicine. Another one has a second sister to apply at the government to do medicine. She qualified, but she wasn't called. They didn't call her. Luckily for her, the daughter of the vice chancellor of the University of Legon happened to be her friend. So she asked her, "You want to know admitted?" What? Then she told her mother, vice chancellor of the University. Because she's qualified, she must be admitted. And the vice chancellor intervened and requested to know why she wasn't admitted. So she didn't come. Within a day or two, there was a letter of admission. So here we have to get up and form a team, make sure that I believe there are many Muslims who qualify to be admitted in all the disciplines, but they are not. They don't get admission. Why? Because they don't have permission or they don't have money. Even during the interview, they ask you, your father, all these things there. Why? What is this one? What are we doing as Muslims? We have to get up and do something about it. I believe if we start doing something, we need proper leadership to work for our children. We are going. Let us all go. But if we leave our children in this state, we don't know what will happen on them. And okay, my father went that as Dr. Zagoon said, education is the key to progress. That's very true. Even the weather prophet said, Innama Yatala Amin Ibadi, that those who fear Allah are educated. And those that are not, هل يستوي الذين يعلمون والذين يعلمون? I mean, can you compare those who are educated and those who are not? You can't compare them. Education is very, very important. You cannot be a good Muslim without education. You can't be a good Muslim without education. Because every aspect of Islamic religion is on knowledge, on education. And Dr. quoted the hadith, who said that you should see if God will send you to China. Tell them, they do Islam? No. We are not limited to only education. Every knowledge, any knowledge that will benefit mankind, you are supposed to do. Not only Islamic, no. The Quran didn't say only the Quran. No, every knowledge, medicine, engineering, economics, law, everything. We are not that behind. We are far behind. Why? Because we are not united. We don't have those who need education. So my final word is that I thank Hijra who has taken this issue seriously. And also thank the organizers for bringing this topic for discussion. I'm sure discussion will go on until this student will be resolved. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
MC, can you clap for Jamal again?
Because it's already given a closer remark.
Yes.
What it does is have give scholarship to any qualified student. They ask him or her, why do you need this scholarship? And then when you get this scholarship, what are you going to do with it? And what would you give back to the community? Because we are investing in you. So if I am an investor, I want to build a school in a community. I want that community, I want to sit down with them, ask them, why do you need this school? And how are you going to manage it? How are you going to sustain it? Building just the structure, I can do it. But keeping the school to a certain level is what the problem is. You just can't build the school and then leave it to the government. Because doing the same thing and getting bad results. Anytime you do that same thing, you get bad results. So we have to change it. If we are going to invest, then we change how we do the management to sustain the buildings we have. This, I don't think we will need an answer now, but maybe we just ponder over it, and then the next time we meet, Chairman, you can answer. Okay.
Well, that's why now that don't involve a committee, and they have people who can manage the school. Because granted, what we have been doing with granted. We have built more than 400 schools. Now we only manage only 5. And the fact that we are managing, alhamdulillah, we are seeing results. Not charge any money. But it is well we have done fine. Thank you very much.
But you said very soon we'll go. We'll go.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Distinguished Chairman, honored Speaker, respected scholars, invited guests, brothers and sisters in Islam. As we draw this enlightening program to a close, it is my pleasant duty to express our sincere appreciation to all those who have contributed to the success of today's lecture. First and foremost, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for granting us the opportunity to gather in this blessed month of Ramadan in pursuit of knowledge and reflection. We express our profound gratitude to our chairman, Sheikh Mustafa Ibrahim, for honoring us with his presence and for his insightful guidance and leadership throughout this program. Our heartfelt appreciation goes to our distinguished speaker, Dr. Haruna Zagoon-Sayeed, for delivering such a thoughtful and intellectually enriching lecture on the state of Muslim education in Ghana. His reflections have provided us with valuable insight and important perspective on the future of education within the Muslim community. We are equally grateful to the chairman of Hijra Club, Alhaji Yusuf Ibrahim, for his visionary leadership and unwavering commitment to the empowerment of Muslim Muslim students through education. Our sincere appreciation goes to Alhaji Danko for sharing us with inspiring journey and mission of Hijra Club. We extend our gratitude to respected scholars, elders, invited guests, representatives from Jamestown, from all schools, from FOMA and other respected organizations, and all participants whose presence has enriched this gathering. We commend the leadership and members of Hijra Club for their dedication in organizing this impactful Ramadan lecture series, which continues to promote knowledge, reflection, and community development within the Ummah. As we conclude today's lecture and bring this year's Hijra Club's Ramadan lecture series to a close, we pray that the knowledge shared here continues to guide our hearts, strengthen our commitment to education, and inspire us to work collectively for the progress of Muslim community in Ghana. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our fasting, our prayers, and all efforts during this blessed month of Ramadan. On behalf of Hijra Club, I thank you all for the presence and participation. My name has always been Suweba, and it has been my honor to serve as your MC for today. Thank you. Haruna will give us the closing prayer.
Sorry, you didn't thank me.
Thanks, Sheikh Haruna, for moderating the program.
Today happens to be the last of the 56th Hijra series. And we take this moment very, very serious. As we take the closing prayer, may I invite you to give your minds just some few seconds. Think about the thing that you want to tell Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your wishes, the vision you have, your expectation. Just reflect on it. Your fears, anxieties, worries, things that bother you, hurdles that you want to clear, and especially the students. You are in the pursuit of education. You have where you want to get to. You are confronted with so many challenges. Some of them go beyond your imagination and how to solve them. But they don't go beyond the power of Allah to do so. So just a reflection, and let's engage with prayer. I want to give thanks to Almighty Allah for His time. Thank Him for life. Thank Him for the energy. Thank Him for inspiration. Thank Him for the life of our speakers, all the series that we're going to engage this year. We thank Allah for Hijra Club, even for the founding fathers of Hijra Club. How the inspiration. Thank Allah for the resources that He's provided for us to be able to provide students who are in need. to thank him for every period in which he engaged in reflection. I want to thank him for the first 10 days of Ramadan, the compassion you have received. The second day, 10 days, the forgiveness continues, the cleansing that we're enjoying. Ask him that the next 10 days that will come be for the freedom he grants to all those who probably might have been condemned when they were held, but out of compassion, we grant them that mission. Allah do that for them. Allah grant his compassion. Pray for all families here, family members, both wives and husbands. Pray that if your family has been torn apart by conflict and misunderstanding and disputes, pray Allah will restore you to peace and harmony. Every family in this season of Ramadan will stay united, so happy, very joyful as we go through. And other things that I cannot mention, but in your mind,